Hey, welcome back to the podcast. If you clicked on this episode, I think you already know what you need right now. You need real English phrases, the kind that actual people use every single day.
That is exactly right, David. And today we have something really special for you. We are going to go through 25 everyday English phrases that will make your conversation sound so much more natural and confident.
And the best part is, these are not phrases from a textbook that nobody actually uses. These are phrases you will hear at work, at school, at the coffee shop, with your friends. This is real-life English.
So if you have ever felt nervous about speaking English, or you felt like your English was okay but just did not sound natural enough, this episode is made exactly for you. Keep listening.
And we are also going to do shadowing practice together throughout this episode. That means you will hear the phrase and then you repeat it out loud. That is honestly one of the fastest ways to improve your speaking and your confidence at the same time.
Before we jump into the phrases, I want to say something important. If you are a beginner or somewhere in the middle level right now, learning English can sometimes feel really hard. You might feel like you are not making progress fast enough. But I want you to know that just by listening to this right now, you are already doing the work.
Sophia is absolutely right. The fact that you are here, listening to real English being spoken naturally, that is already a huge step forward. Most people think about improving their English, but never actually do anything about it. You are different, so give yourself some credit for showing up today.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with some common greetings and conversation openers. These are the phrases you use when you first see someone or when you are starting a conversation. They set the whole tone of the interaction.
Phrase number 1, how's it going? This is a very common way to say hello and ask how someone is doing. Instead of saying, how are you, which can sound a little formal sometimes, people in everyday life often say, how's it going?
For example, you walk into the office and you see your coworker. You smile and you say, hey, how's it going? It's casual, it's friendly, and it feels very natural to native speakers.
And the response is simple. You can say, pretty good, thanks, or not bad, how about you? You don't need a long answer at all. Just keep it short and easy, and the conversation will flow from there.
Okay, let's do our first shadowing practice. I will say the phrase and then you repeat it out loud. Do not just listen, say it with your mouth. Ready? How's it going? Go ahead and say it right now. How's it going? Great job. Say it one more time with confidence.
Phrase number 2, what have you been up to? This is another phrase you will hear all the time. You usually say this to someone you haven't seen in a little while. It basically means, what have you been doing lately? What's going on in your life these days?
For example, you run into an old friend at the grocery store and you say, oh wow, hey, what have you been up to? And they might say, oh, not much, just been busy with work. Or they say, actually, a lot has been happening. I got a new job.
This phrase is so useful because it opens up the conversation in a natural and warm way. It shows the other person that you are genuinely interested in them, and people really respond well to that.
Shadowing time. What have you been up to? Say it with me. What have you been up to? Try to sound relaxed and natural, not like you're reading from a script, just like you're talking to a good friend you haven't seen in a while.
Phrase number 4 is one of my personal favorites. Long time no see. This is what you say when you see someone after a long period of time. It's a little informal, but it's very natural, and people say it all the time.
You might say, oh my goodness, long time no see. How have you been? Or just a simple, hey, long time no see. Good to see you again. It's warm, it's friendly, and it immediately creates a nice feeling in the conversation.
Let's shadow it together. Long time no see. Go ahead, say it. Long time no see. You are doing amazing. And seriously, just keep repeating these phrases throughout your day and they will become completely automatic. That's how the brain works.
Phrase number 4, nice to meet you. Now, this one sounds simple, but a lot of English learners forget to use it in the right moment, or they feel unsure about when exactly to say it. You say nice to meet you when you're meeting someone for the very first time.
For example, your friend introduces you to their colleague, and you say, "Hi, I'm David. Nice to meet you." And they say, Nice to meet you too. It's short, it's polite, and it leaves a really good first impression.
And here's something extra. A lot of people also say a version of this at the end of a first conversation too. Like when you're saying goodbye, you can say, "It was really nice to meet you." That's a beautiful and warm way to end a first interaction.
Shadow practice. Nice to meet you. Say it. Nice to meet you. Now try the fuller version. It was really nice to meet you. That sounds so natural and genuine. Keep practicing that one.
Phrase number 5. Can you say that again, please? Now, this is so important for English learners. And honestly, it's important for everyone in real conversations. Sometimes you don't catch what someone said and you need them to repeat it. This phrase is polite and completely natural to use.
A lot of learners feel embarrassed to ask someone to repeat themselves. They just smile and nod and hope for the best. But asking for clarification is actually the smart and confident thing to do. It shows you're paying attention and you want to truly understand.
You can say, "Sorry, can you say that again, please?" Or just, "Sorry, can you repeat that?" Both are perfectly fine. Native speakers say this all the time too. You are not the only one who sometimes needs a sentence repeated.
Shadow time. Can you say that again, please? Go ahead. Can you say that again, please? Excellent. You are building real speaking confidence right now, one phrase at a time.
All right, we are going to keep the momentum going. You are doing so well just by staying with us right now. A lot of people start something and then give up after 5 minutes, but you are still here. That already tells me something great about you.
And I want to remind you of something before we continue. Every single phrase we teach you today, you do not need to learn all 25 in one day. Just pick 3 or 4 that feel the most useful to you right now and practice those ones until they feel completely automatic. Then come back and grab a few more.
That is such a smart approach, David. Language learning is not a race. It is a journey. And the people who win that journey are not the ones who study the hardest for 1 week. They are the ones who stay consistent and keep showing up, just like you are doing right now.
Okay, let us get back into our phrases. We finished 5 phrases in part 1. Now we're moving into the next group. These are phrases for keeping a conversation going, because starting a conversation is one thing, but keeping it flowing naturally is a whole different skill.
Phrase number 6. That's really interesting. This is such a useful phrase, and it works in almost every kind of conversation. When someone tells you something and you want to show that you are engaged and listening, you say, "Oh, that's really interesting." It's simple, but it means a lot to the other person.
For example, someone tells you they just started learning how to paint, and you say, "Oh wow, that's really interesting. How did you get into that?" You're not just responding, you're also opening the door for them to keep talking. That keeps the conversation alive and natural.
And here's a small tip. You can also change the word interesting to other words depending on the situation. You could say, "That's really amazing," or "That's really cool," or even "That's really surprising." It's the same structure but with different feelings.
Shadow time. That's really interesting. Say it with feeling, like you genuinely mean it. That's really interesting. Now try, "That's really cool." And one more, "That's really amazing." Great work. The more emotion you put into it, the more natural it sounds.
Phrase number 8. Sounds good to me. You'll hear this one constantly. When someone suggests a plan or an idea and you agree with it, you say, "Sounds good to me." It's casual, positive, and easy to use.
For example, your coworker says, "Let's meet at 3 o'clock to go over the report." And you say, "Sounds good to me." Or your friend says, "Let's grab pizza tonight." And you say, "Yeah, sounds good to me." It's friendly and it moves things forward without making the conversation feel heavy.
You can also shorten it and just say, "Sounds good." That's even more casual and very common. Both versions are perfectly fine depending on the situation. At work, you might use the full version, and with friends, you might just say, "Sounds good."
Shadowing time. Sounds good to me. Say it. Sounds good to me. Now the short version. Sounds good. You see how that flows so naturally off the tongue? That's because it's short, simple, and direct. Simple phrases are always the most powerful ones in real conversation.
Phrase number 9. What do you think? This is one of the best phrases for inviting someone into a conversation. When you ask someone, "What do you think?" you're showing them that their opinion matters to you. It's respectful and it keeps the conversation balanced.
For example, you and a friend are talking about a movie you both watched. You give your thoughts and then you say, "But what do you think? Did you enjoy it?" Now the conversation becomes a real two-way exchange, and people love to feel like their voice matters.
You can also use a longer version like, "What do you think about that?" Or "What do you think we should do?" It's the same phrase, but you're adding more specific direction to it. Both versions are completely natural.
Shadow practice. What do you think? Say it out loud. What do you think? Try it with the longer version. What do you think about that? You are sounding more and more like a natural English speaker with every phrase. Keep going.
Phrase number 10. By the way, this little phrase is used to introduce a new topic or a side thought in the middle of a conversation. It's like a soft transition that says, "Oh, I just remembered something. Let me add this too."
For example, you and a coworker are talking about the project deadline, and then you remember something else you needed to tell them. You say, "Oh, by the way, did you see the email from the manager this morning?" You're shifting the topic smoothly without it feeling awkward or abrupt.
By the way is also used to add extra information, like the meeting is at 2 o'clock. By the way, it's in the new conference room, not the old one. It's such a handy little phrase, and once you start noticing it, you'll hear native speakers say it all the time.
Let's shadow. By the way. Say it. By the way. Now try it in a sentence. By the way, did you hear about that? That feels so natural, right? And that's the goal. We want these phrases to feel so natural coming out of your mouth that you don't even have to think about them anymore.
We've covered 10 phrases now, and I want to take a moment to just acknowledge something. If you're an English learner and you're still listening, that means you have real dedication. A lot of people look for shortcuts in language learning. They want to be fluent in 30 days without doing any real work.
But you're here doing the real work. You're listening to actual English conversations, you're shadowing, you're building the habit. And habits are what create results. Not motivation, not talent, just consistent habits done over and over again. You're building yours right now.
And here's something I want you to remember always. You don't need to be perfect to have a real conversation in English. You just need to be understood. Fluency is not about having zero mistakes. It's about communicating your thoughts and connecting with people. That's it.
So the next time you feel scared to speak English, just remember that. You're not trying to win a grammar competition. You're just trying to connect with another human being, and you are more than capable of doing that.
We are now more than halfway through our 25 phrases, and honestly, you should feel really proud of yourself for staying with us this long. A lot of people would have stopped by now, but you are still here, still learning, still growing. That is something special.
Okay, so in this part, we are going to move into phrases that you use when you are sharing opinions and agreeing or disagreeing with someone. These are incredibly important for real conversations, because real conversations are not just exchanging information, they're exchanging ideas and feelings and perspectives.
And being able to share your opinion clearly in English, that is a game changer. It gives you confidence. It makes you feel like you actually belong in the conversation. And that feeling, that sense of belonging in an English conversation, that is what we are working toward together.
Phrase number 11. In my opinion. This is how you introduce your personal point of view in a conversation. Instead of just stating something like it is a fact, you say, "in my opinion," first. It signals to the other person that this is your perspective, not an absolute truth.
For example, someone asks you, "Which method of studying English do you think works best?" And you say, "Well, in my opinion, listening to real conversations every day is the most effective way." You are sharing your view clearly and confidently without being pushy about it.
You can also use a shorter version, which is "I think." Like, "I think listening to real conversations is the best way to learn." Both phrases work the same way, and they're both very natural. "In my opinion" sounds a little more formal, and "I think" sounds more casual. Use them depending on the situation.
Shadow time. In my opinion. Say it. In my opinion. Now try the full sentence. In my opinion, this is really helpful. Perfect. Now say the casual version. I think this is really helpful. You see how both of them feel natural but have a slightly different weight to them? That nuance will come with time and practice.
Phrase number 14. I agree with you. This one is beautifully simple and it's used all the time. When someone says something and you feel the same way, you say, I agree with you. It validates what they said and it creates a moment of connection between you and the other person.
For example, your friend says, I feel like it is really important to practice speaking every day and not just study grammar. And you say, I totally agree with you. That makes the other person feel good, and it also moves the conversation forward in a positive direction.
There's also a shorter and more casual version. You can just say, I agree, or even absolutely, or exactly. Native speakers use all of these. They mix them up depending on how strongly they feel about the topic. The stronger you feel, the more energy you put into the response.
Let's shadow. I agree with you. Say it. I agree with you. Now the short version. I agree. Now try the stronger ones. Absolutely. Exactly. Practice all of these and try using a different one each time this week in a real or imagined conversation. Variety makes your English sound much more natural.
Phrase number 14. I'm not sure about that. Now this is the polite and natural way to disagree or express doubt in English. Instead of just saying, no, that's wrong, which can sound harsh, you say, I'm not sure about that. It keeps the conversation respectful and open.
For example, someone says, I heard that watching movies without subtitles is a waste of time for beginners. And you say, I'm not sure about that. I think it can actually be really helpful for getting used to the sounds of the language. You're disagreeing, but in a way that is soft and still invites further discussion.
You can also say, I'm not really sure about that. Adding really makes it sound even more natural. Or you can say, I'm not totally convinced about that. These are all ways of expressing polite disagreement, and they're all completely normal to use in everyday English conversations.
Shadow practice. I'm not sure about that. Go ahead, say it. I'm not sure about that. Try the softer version. I'm not really sure about that. You're learning how to navigate real conversations in English, not just exchange words. That's a much higher level skill, and you're building it right now.
Phrase number 15. That makes sense. This is one of those phrases that you'll start hearing absolutely everywhere once you learn it. When someone explains something to you and you understand it, you say, that makes sense. It's a natural way of saying, I follow you, I understand your point.
For example, your colleague explains why they want to change the schedule for a meeting, and you say, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You're showing that you understood their reasoning. It's simple, it's warm, and it keeps the conversation moving forward smoothly.
You can also use it the other way. If you're the one explaining something and you want to check if the other person understood, you can say, does that make sense? It's a gentle and friendly way of checking for understanding without making the other person feel uncomfortable.
Shadow practice. That makes sense. Say it. That makes sense. Now the question form. Does that make sense? Try both a few times. That makes sense. Does that make sense? These two phrases together are incredibly useful, and you'll find yourself using them constantly once they become natural for you.
Phrase number 16. Let me think about it. This is so important, and so many learners don't know how to say this naturally. When someone asks you a question or makes a suggestion and you need a moment to think, you say, let me think about it. It buys you time without making the conversation feel awkward.
For example, a friend asks, do you want to join our English speaking group on Saturday mornings? And maybe you're not sure yet. Instead of just going quiet or saying, I don't know, which can sound a bit flat, you say, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me think about it and I'll let you know. That's so natural and polite.
You can also say, let me think as a shorter version, just 2 words but completely natural. Or you can say, give me a second to think about that. All of these signal to the other person that you're engaged and taking their questions seriously. That's always a good thing.
Shadow practice. Let me think about it. Say it. Let me think about it. Short version. Let me think. One more. Give me a second to think about that. Beautiful. You're not just learning phrases, you're learning how to think and respond in English in real time. That's real progress.
Now, I want to stop for a second and talk to you directly. If you've been listening this whole time and you've been repeating the phrases out loud, you deserve a huge round of applause, because what you're doing right now is exactly what language learning experts call active listening, and it's one of the most powerful tools you have.
A lot of English learners make the mistake of only passive listening. They put on a podcast or a video and they just listen while doing something else. And that's better than nothing, it really is. But active listening, where you're repeating, paying attention, engaging with the material, that's where the real breakthroughs happen.
Think about it this way. When you go to the gym and you want to build muscle, you don't just sit next to the weights and watch other people lift. You have to pick up the weight yourself. Language learning is the same. You have to actually use the language, even if it's just repeating phrases to yourself in your room.
And you're doing exactly that right now. Every time you shadow a phrase in this episode, you're training your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together in English. And over time, that training becomes automatic. That's when fluency starts to feel real and natural.
So keep going, even when it feels slow. Even when you have a day where English feels hard and confusing, those days are part of the process. They're not signs that you're failing. They're signs that your brain is working hard and making new connections.
We have 5 more phrases to go in this part, and then one final part after this, so stay with us. The last 10 phrases are some of the most practical and useful ones we have for you today.
All right, we are in the final stretch now, phrases 16 through 25. These are the ones that are going to round out your everyday English and make you sound genuinely comfortable and natural in almost any conversation. Let us finish strong.
Phrase number 16. Go ahead. This is a simple but incredibly useful phrase. When someone hesitates before speaking or seems like they want to say something, you say, go ahead. It is an invitation. It tells the other person, I am listening, please continue. I want to hear what you have to say.
For example, someone starts a sentence and then pauses and says, oh, sorry, never mind. And you say, no, go ahead, I want to hear it. That is such a warm and encouraging thing to say. It makes people feel comfortable and safe to express themselves around you.
You can also use it when giving someone permission to do something. Like if someone asks, is it okay if I start eating? You say, yes, of course, go ahead. It is a very natural and casual way to give permission without sounding too formal or stiff.
Shadow time. Go ahead. Say it. Go ahead. Now say it with warmth, like you are genuinely inviting someone to speak. Go ahead, I want to hear it. Practice that. The tone you say something in matters just as much as the words themselves.
Phrase number 17. It depends. This is one of those phrases that will save you so many times in conversations. When someone asks you a question and the answer is not simple or straightforward, you say, it depends. It tells the other person that the answer changes based on the situation.
For example, someone asks you, is it better to study English in the morning or at night? And the honest answer is, well, it depends on the person, it depends on your schedule, it depends on when your brain feels most alert. So you say, honestly, it depends. For some people, mornings work better. For others, nights are more productive.
You can also say, it really depends, to add emphasis, or it depends on the situation. Once you start using this phrase, you will realize how often in real life the answer to a question is not just yes or no. This phrase gives you a natural and intelligent way to handle those moments.
Shadow practice. It depends. Say it. It depends. Now add emphasis. It really depends on the situation. That sounds so natural and thoughtful. Add that one to your collection immediately.
Phrase number 19. I have no idea. This is the natural and casual way to say you do not know something. A lot of learners say, I don't know, which is fine, but I have no idea sounds even more natural and conversational in everyday speech.
For example, someone asks you, do you know why the meeting got canceled? And you say, honestly, I have no idea. Nobody told me anything. It's honest, it's real, and it sounds completely natural. You're not pretending to know something you don't. That's actually a sign of confidence, not weakness.
You can also say, I have absolutely no idea to make it even more emphatic, or you can soften it and say, I'm not really sure, I have no idea to be honest. Mixing these phrases together creates very natural sounding speech that flows beautifully.
Shadow time. I have no idea. Say it. I have no idea. Now add emphasis. I have absolutely no idea. And now say it casually, like you are talking to a good friend. Honestly, I have no idea. All three feel different, but all three are natural. That's the beauty of real English.
Phrase number 20. That's a good point. This is one of the most powerful phrases for making someone feel valued in a conversation. When someone says something smart or insightful, you respond with, that's a good point. It validates their thinking and it encourages them to keep sharing.
For example, your friend says, I think the reason a lot of people give up on learning English is because they try to learn everything at once instead of focusing on one thing at a time. And you say, wow, that's a really good point. I never thought about it that way. That kind of response makes the conversation come alive.
And honestly, when you say that's a good point in English, it also makes you sound more thoughtful and engaged as a listener. It shows that you're not just waiting for your turn to talk. You're actually processing what the other person is saying. That's a skill that goes way beyond just language learning.
Shadow practice. That's a good point. Say it. That's a good point. Now try the stronger version. That's a really good point. And one more. I never thought about it that way. All three of those together make for an incredibly natural and engaging response in any conversation.
Okay, we are almost at the finish line now. 5 more phrases. Let us bring it home. Phrase number 21. No worries. This is the casual and friendly way to say it is okay, do not feel bad about it, everything is fine. Native speakers say this constantly instead of no problem or that is okay.
For example, someone says, sorry for being a little late to the call. And you say, oh, no worries at all. Or someone says, sorry, I forgot to send you that document. And you say, no worries, send it whenever you can. It is relaxed, it's kind, and it immediately reduces tension in any situation.
Phrase number 22. Let's catch up soon. You say this when you are saying goodbye to someone you haven't seen in a while and you want to see them again. It's warm and it leaves the conversation on a positive and hopeful note.
For example, you run into an old friend and you chat for a few minutes, but then you both have to go. You say, it was so great seeing you. Let's catch up soon. And they will almost certainly say, yes, absolutely, let's do that. It's a beautiful way to end an interaction.
Phrase number 23. I totally get it. This means I completely understand. The word totally makes it sound very natural and genuine. When someone explains a situation and you want them to know you fully understand where they're coming from, you say, I totally get it. Example, someone says, I get so anxious about speaking English in front of people. Even though I know the words, they just don't come out right. And you say, I totally get it. That happens to so many people and it's completely normal. That response is empathetic, it's warm, and it's real.
Phrase number 24. That is hilarious. This is the natural way to respond when something is very funny. A lot of learners say only, that is funny. But native speakers often say, that is hilarious for something that is really funny. It sounds more expressive and genuine. For example, someone tells you a funny story about something that happened to them, and you laugh and say, oh my goodness, that is hilarious. It shows genuine emotion, and it encourages the other person to keep the energy going. Emotional responses like this make conversations feel alive and real.
And our final phrase, phrase number 25. It was really nice talking to you. This is how you end a conversation on a genuinely warm and positive note. Instead of just saying bye or see you, you say, it was really nice talking to you. It leaves the other person with a wonderful feeling about the conversation you just had together.
For example, you finish a call with a new colleague, and before hanging up, you say, well, thank you so much for your time. It was really nice talking to you. Or you say goodbye to someone at a party, and you say, I really enjoyed this. It was so nice talking to you. It's gracious, it's warm, and people remember that.
Shadow time for our last phrase. It was really nice talking to you. Say it one final time with full warmth and sincerity. It was really nice talking to you. That's beautiful. You just completed all 25 phrases. How do you feel right now? I hope you feel proud because you absolutely should.
All right, let's do a quick recap of everything we covered today. We went through 25 everyday English phrases across 5 different categories: greetings and openers, keeping conversations going, sharing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing, and closing conversations warmly.
And the most important thing to remember is this: you don't need to master all 25 phrases today. Pick your favorite 5. Practice those 5 until they feel completely automatic, until they come out of your mouth without thinking, and then come back and pick 5 more.
Imagine this. 3 months from now, you're in a real English conversation. Maybe at work, maybe with a friend, maybe while traveling, and these phrases are just flowing out of you naturally. You're not panicking, you're not searching for words, you're just talking. That's where you're headed. That's what consistency gets you.
And here's the thing about language learning that not enough people talk about. The goal is not perfection. The goal is connection. And with these 25 phrases, you now have 25 new ways to connect with people in English. That's incredibly powerful.
If this episode helped you, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss an episode. We put out new conversations and practice sessions every week, designed specifically for English learners just like you.
And remember this always. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not too busy. You are exactly where you need to be right now. Every English conversation you have, every episode you listen to, every phrase you practice, it all adds up. It all counts. And one day, it just clicks.
That day is coming for you. We believe that. Now, go practice those phrases. Talk to yourself in English. Talk to a friend. Talk to anyone. Just use the language and watch what happens over time.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. It really was so nice talking to you.
It really was. We'll see you in the next one. Keep going.